welcome to my channel. My name is Pamela and this is Teacher Pamela Plans, where we do everything from teaching ideas to crafting to planning to goal setting and believing and so much more. Today we are in Makselife, the Planning Companion Notebooks, and we are going to be doing some weekly action plans, and I'm also going to be showing you my monthly plans for January of 2024. Can't believe we're there. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so one thing I really wanted to note about the new companion notebooks is the fact that you have this amazing bookmark now. So that will keep your place wherever week you're on for your weekly action. So I really like that because there's a bunch of weeks obviously within each of these since they're quarterly notebooks. And so you can keep your place and find your page very easily. So here is my January 1 through 7, that first week of January, and I had a really rough week. It was crazy, I'll tell you, just because I was super sick. So I was really down and out and didn't get much accomplished that week. So this is kind of a new beginning for me now on the 8th through the 14th, which is this week. All right, so I'm going to start by explaining my monthly goals that I already had set previously, but I haven't shown within a video yet. My first area of life is personal, and within that, my focus is being positive about alone time. I struggle with alone time, so I'm really going to focus on that this month. And so in order to do that, my 4 goals for that area is that I'm going to be reading Leslie F. Jones, and that I'm specifically doing for a book club. I'm also going to be creating an evening routine that works for me. Since that's some of my alone time, I want something that works well. And then another thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking pictures for my memory keeper. And I think that that's going to be really good because that's going to help me get creative within my alone time. And then I also have to complete my January memory keeper section. All right, so those are my personal areas. The next area of life is fun and recreation. And so my focus is experience, and I want to experience life. So one of the fun things that I want to do is kind of also self-care could be considered, and that's my weekly nails. So here I did some weekly nails this week, and I made them kind of New Year's like with the sparkles, and they're a little bit darker, and I use nail strips to do my nails. So I continue to do those each week. And they're not perfect, but you know, they work. The next thing I'm going to be doing is book club this month. I do a book club each month where we get together and talk about whatever book we're reading. So I'm going to also be doing that for fun and recreation. So my next area of life is work and learning. And so this is obviously for my job. I am not the typical person as far as a job is concerned. I work for OutSchool. And then I also consider working with my kids as part of my job because I help with their learning. And then, of course, I do the household duties as well. So my focus this month is passion because I'm passionate about what I do, and I want to continue to be passionate and focus on the passion rather than focus on all these little things. And so one of the things that I need to do is to make lesson plans each week. So I wrote down that I'm going to do 5 weeks of lesson planning. I try to make those lessons as creative as I can. And then I'm also going to be posting my December videos. I'm way behind on my videos in general, and so I need to edit those and post those and get those up. So within those, you'll be seeing a video of my stack, my planner stack, as well as my January catch-all setup. So those are some of the major videos that I need to get posted. And that's one of my goals. All right, so moving on to the next area of life, which is family and relationships. My focus is love, just focusing on loving others no matter what. And the first thing that I would like to do is to create some more playtime with my boys 2 times a week. So you can see me kind of editing here because what I also add is and change is family movie night. I put in their New Year celebration, but because I ended up being so sick, that didn't work out so well. And this week instead, we kind of had a family movie night that we did together. So that's what I put in there. We actually watched the movie Mummies. It was so much fun. It was really cute. I made some popcorn, and we have little popcorn buckets for everyone to use, and it was a cute little family movie night that we had. So I decided to put that in there instead because I do want to be creating activities monthly as a family. And so I did that. Then I'm also going to be having Christmas with my mom. We usually do it after the holidays settle down, and my husband is working super hard at work right now, so we'll probably be doing that as soon as things calm down a little bit more towards the mid to end of the month. Another thing that I put on there is to do Hack. Hack stands for Hunt a Killer. We have a subscription, my husband and I do, and I really, really love it. It's an opportunity for us to bond and spend time together solving a mystery. And then the last thing there is playing with my dog Thor. And I just really want to spend a little bit more time with him and get him out a little bit more. All right, so my next area of life is health and wellness. The focus is change. I need to make drastic changes within this area this year. I struggled growing in this area last year. I just didn't get very far, but I'm going to be working on that this year. And in a second here, I'm going to change. I put walk at the gym 2 times. I need to do per week. So I added that in. And I also noticed that I put play with Thor 3 times. I need to change that to 3 times a week. All right, so one of the things I need to be doing is tracking daily. I'm on the Weight Watchers plan, and I went to a great meeting that was all about that just this past week. One of my other goals here is to take pictures. So this is in my planner that Jane's Agenda gave us, this 52 weeks too. And I'm going to use that to take a picture of myself each week to show my progress within my health and wellness. Now, I'm not going to be doing anything crazy as far as weight loss goals or anything like that. I'm just taking things one step at a time and moving slowly within these. So I want to talk a little bit about my Weight Watchers experience this week with the tracking. Tracking can be difficult for me because I am a perfectionist. I want to track exactly the way things are supposed to be tracked, and I struggle with just estimating. But one of the things we talked about is it's way better to just estimate, write it down rather than to not write it down at all, and that it's super important because it kind of gets you an idea of where you're at. So that's what I'm going to be working on with those tracking goals. Okay, so then of course the other thing that I did speak about just briefly was that I walk at the gym, and I need to do that 2 times a week in the month of January. And I'm going to gradually increase that to more because I am going to be doing a 10K. All right, so the next area of life is spiritual and personal growth. For that, my focus is God. And I did put a moon journal together already, so that's already done. It's all set up. I'm going to start my Wesley Covenant groups, which is my Bible study. And then I've got 3 moon rituals. I'm going to be doing the new moon on the 11th. The 17th is the first quarter, and the 25th is the full moon. And then I'm also going to be doing some CU Able catch-up. CU Able is an organization that I volunteer for. I'm the treasurer of. And what it's about is it's basically for caretakers and parents of people of special needs. And basically we give them resources, ideas, things like that, of that nature, some support for those parents and caretakers. All right, so I need to do some kind of catch up for the financial aspects of that. Moving on to my financial area, my focus is I need to remember that I do contribute. And here's some areas that can help me feel as though I contribute. So my first goal is to create a business expense document within Excel. And for that, I need to give it to my husband. He does our taxes. He is a CPA. And so he's very good at all of that stuff. So I give him all my business stuff so he can create it and figure out what we need to do tax-wise. Then I also have that I'm going to track my expenses of business for January, track my personal expenses since we're on a budget right now for January. And then I'm also in need of paying for some things myself. So I'm going to pay for my student loan as well as my gym membership. And that really kind of helps me feel like I'm contributing even more since I'm clearly not the breadwinner. It just helps me to feel like I'm doing something productive in the financial aspects of things. Okay, for our 8th and final area of focus, which is physical environment, my focus of this physical environment is to focus on the daily aspects of things. So I'm going to be cleaning 30 minutes daily. Now, I did not do this successfully for the week of the 1st through the 7th because I was super, super sick, but I'm okay with that. I'm accepting of the fact that things were a disaster. It's okay. But one thing I did get done that week was cleaning up the holiday decorations and putting those away. So I did get something accomplished, which is great. So for the rest of the time, I'm going to be focusing on just my daily 30 minutes of cleaning, setting a timer for 30 minutes, and I use the Clean Mama routine for that. It just breaks things down for me. All right, so here I'm showing that my week from January 1st through the 7th wasn't the best, but I had some wins. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down those wins here and talk about some of those, as well as the lessons that I learned, and then the adjustments that I'm going to be making. Okay, so in the area of personal, I did order my book, Leslie F. Jones. I did not get to read half the book, but I'm not too concerned about that because book club was extended out a week. So usually we do it the 2nd week of the month, but we actually ended up moving it to the 3rd weekend of the month. So I actually have extra time, so I'm not even worried about it. I also did take memory pictures, and I did not get to my memory keeper, but I decided I'm going to move that to this week. It makes a lot more sense. That's why I'm kind of pointing to that page, is it makes more sense to do it the week after things happen, so I can document all the things that happened if I want to. So I kind of just let go of not even doing that one, and it's all good. And then fun and recreation, I did do my nails on Friday, as you can see. Then for work and learning, I did my lesson plan, completed that, and I did edit and post my goals video for my annual goals. So you can also go back and watch my annual goals video if you'd like to. Family and relations, I walked Thor one time, but it was really cold outside. So instead of play with Thor, I actually walked Thor. So I'll change that, you'll see, to walk instead of play with Thor. As far as health and wellness, I did not do good in this area. I was very sick. I did not pay attention to what I was eating per se. Wasn't eating that whole lot anyways, didn't matter. I wasn't walking. I was coughing a ton. I didn't see the point in taking a picture because I wasn't going to get very far, I felt like. So I just didn't do anything pretty much for the health and wellness area. And I'm ready to pick that up this week. As far as spiritual and personal growth, I did put my moon journal together, so that's all done. For financial, I tracked my business expenses and I tracked my personal expenses. I do those on Sunday. And then physical environment, I cleaned up the holiday decorations. Like I said before, I did no 30-minute cleaning, but I did clean up those decorations. So I got some things done. All right, so here's where I start writing down my wins. One of the wins that I have is that I got some things accomplished. Even though I was sick and not feeling well, I did get some things accomplished. Another thing was that I got to check off what was completed. So sometimes I'm not very good at doing that. I just don't check off what I did accomplish sometimes within my Makselife. So I really want to be more consistent about that, so I know where I'm getting at with my goals. And then one of the other things that was a win was resting. I took time for myself, resting wise. And then I was able to let go of what I didn't complete, given the fact that I was sick. So I did a really great job as far as not feeling bad. I still felt some guilt. I have some work to do on that. But I definitely did a good job of being like, well, I did accomplish some things. And one of the most important things I needed was rest and being okay with that. Okay, so after I write down my wins, then the next thing that I'm going to go to is the lessons that I learned. And really, it was just one major lesson that I feel like I learned, which was that rest is necessary when I'm sick. And I'm still even working on accepting that as true. I struggle with this one for sure. I feel guilty about not getting things done, not getting up off my butt. I feel lazy, that kind of stuff. And so I'm getting better at it, knowing that this is true, but it's still a struggle sometimes. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is to make adjustments for the upcoming week. So one of the adjustments is book club has been moved. So now I have more time to read the book. So I'm going to change how many chapters I'm reading each day and figure that out so I can just finish in time for the book club itself and not worry about going so quickly. All right, the next adjustment that I'm going to make is that I'm going to move my memory keeping to the following week. There's no reason for me to memory keep if the week is still happening, so I need to make that adjustment as well. I wasn't really thinking when I decided to do that. It didn't make a lot of sense. And then the last thing is to track throughout the day. Rather than just tracking at night, I need to track throughout the day so that I don't forget what it is that I ate. So very important for me to do moving forward. All right, so the next thing I'm going to be doing here is creating my weekly actions for the week of January 8th through the 14th. And I'm going to be using the Makselife stencil here. And I'm also going to be using the Makselife regular markers. So I don't have the dot markers. I don't use them since I have the stencil. I think it works just fine. All right, so for my personal area of life, my weekly actions are going to be that I'm going to read. And I specifically look at my monthly to kind of plan out. I know that there are 13 chapters in this book. So I look back and I see, all right, how am I going to split this up? I'm already on chapter 6. I know I'm going to read chapter 5 the evening that I created this. And so I split it up. So I decided I was going to read chapters 6 through 12 this week. The next thing I want to do is to take some memory pics so that I can use them for my memory keeper. And now, this week, I'm finally going to do the memory keeper for week 1. So that's what I adjusted. And so that's what I'm going to put in here. For the next area of life, fun and recreation, I'm going to be doing my nails. I don't write that down first because I'm thinking, oh, there's nothing. But because book club has been moved, but I forgot about nails. So I go back and I will put that in there. Okay, so my next area of life is work and learning. For this area, it's week 3 for my lesson plans. So I need to do my lesson planning for this week, for week 3 of the semester. And then I also am going to be posting a lot of videos. So like I've talked about already, I need to edit and post some videos. So the first one is to edit and post my video on goals. That's this video right here that we're watching right now. So that one will be edited, posted. And then the next one that I need to do is I need to post my lineup like I talked about before, as well as my catch-all January setup. So I write those down as part of my work and learning. All right, so my next area of life is family and relationships. And one of the things that I want to do is play with Thor again. So I look back and see what my monthly goal is for that. And I end up writing down that I want to play with Thor 3 times this week. And then I'm also deciding on what to do with my boys because I really want to spend more time playing with them. And I specifically wrote down video games with my boys. And 2 times is what I would do, 1 for each kid, individual, one-on-one time. So, they may not want to do that necessarily, and I'll figure that out and adjust it if necessary. But that's just kind of what I wrote down. But they do love video games, so I think that will be some fun time for us. And I don't usually typically play video games with them, so it'll be kind of a treat. Okay, nothing really as far as changes for health and wellness, but I do want to track. I want to try and track 5 days out of the week consistently and track everything. I want to walk at the gym 2 times this week, and I want to take my picture for the 50 weeks to place in my planner. Okay, so for my next area of life, which is spiritual and personal growth, I have a moon ritual that I need to do on the 11th, and then see you able as far as catching up. Sorry about my head, by the way. I'm going to do October and November catch up for those so that I'm splitting it up a little bit. As far as for financial, I'm just going to be tracking my business expenses because I need to do that for tax purposes. I'm going to track my personal expenses so that I can budget better. And I'm going to pay for my gym membership this week. Great. Last but not least, physical environment. For that, I'm going to be doing my daily cleaning 30 minutes a day. I use the Clean Mama routine, like I said before, just simply because I can split things up very easily. It breaks it down for you. Monday, for example, is bathroom day, where you clean your bathrooms. Tuesday's dusting, etc. So I just really like how it breaks it down. It makes it more manageable. So I'm actually going to do my cleaning routine 5 days out of the week, which would be during the weekdays. Okay, so the next thing that you see me doing here is I'm adding dots. So the first thing I'm going to do is in the front, add some circles to every single one of my goals here, so that when I complete them, I get to check it off. How satisfying is that? It's amazing. Okay, so then the other thing that I'm going to actually also add in is I add in squares behind the things that are multiple times. So for example, tracking, I want to track 5 days this week. So I'm going to put 5 squares behind it. And so then each time I track, I get to check off one of those squares. And it's just very satisfying to even see, even if I don't do it perfectly, at least I track and get some check marks. All right, so the last thing I want to show you really quick is this is my calendar, and I use this to kind of split things up even within the week. So for example, I'm reading chapters 6 through 12. That's from one of my personal goals. So then I'll split up when I'm going to read it. So Monday I'll read chapter 6, Tuesday 7, Wednesday 8, etc. So that's an easy one because I just read one chapter each day. So I'm going to write it down. If it's a habit that I do every day, for example, like cleaning for 30 minutes, I'm not going to even write that in the calendar. So I only write things that, I really need to consciously think of each day. And then what I end up doing is I transfer those things over to my planner. So the things that you see me writing are my chapters that I'm going to use. I also write down when am I going to do my memory keeper. I don't write down when I'm going to take pictures because they're memories. So I'll take them when necessary. I write down that I do my nails on Friday. And I write down when I'm going to edit and post each of the videos. So those are some examples of some of the things that I'm going to do and what days I'm going to do them. And I don't always get it done on that day, but it just helps me to split it up and plan it better. All right, so that's it for my weekly actions and my January goals. For the next video, probably will go quite quicker because I'm just going to put in my weekly actions. So whenever at the beginning of the month I have my goals in there for the month as well as my actions, it might take a little bit longer. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe below, comment, anything you'd like to see moving forward. And don't forget, keep believing. See you next time. Bye-bye.